Okay, so hi everybody. Thank you for tuning in, for checking this out. So as some of you are aware, I did do this live earlier, and then for whatever reason it didn't upload, which I'm no stranger to technology not doing what I would hope it would do. So this is officially the first of the however many sessions of me offering to you guys a bit of support, a bit of guided meditation, and some information, knowledge about mindfulness, and I just wanted to help, really. There's all kinds of madness going on at the moment with the coronavirus and lots of uncertainty. And then the social distancing, self-isolation stuff. It's all, for a lot of people, this is very, very scary, very anxiety-inducing, can be quite triggering. And for some of us, being at home is not necessarily a good place to be for us. A lot of people spend a lot of time and money and effort not spending time on their own. So having that enforced upon them can be quite difficult. So yeah, I wanted to provide a resource and use the knowledge and skills that I've developed over years of living with and managing my chronic health issues, both physical and mental, and the years of study and practice that I've put into mindfulness and meditation. And I imagine at some point down the line I'll probably do something with some body movement as well, because that's just as important. I thought, seeing as this was the first one and it's about mindfulness and meditation and breath work, that I'd rock my mind over matter t-shirt, which I am ever so slightly chuffed about having. So this first session really is just about connecting with the breath and connecting with the body a little bit. For those of you that have been practicing meditation and mindfulness and you're checking this out, thanks a lot for coming along. And some of this stuff might be a little bit you might feel it's a little bit basic. What I would encourage you to do, what I invite you to do, is to really see if we can incorporate and practice that beginner's mindset. In mindfulness, there are 7 attitudes, and I'll go through them progressively. But one of those attitudes is the beginner's mind. So for those of you who are brand spanking new to breathwork and meditation and mindfulness and stuff, you're actually in a really, really good position, because you are approaching this with a beginner's mind. For those of you who are a little bit more experienced with mindfulness and meditation and stuff, I encourage you to think back to when you started training and practicing, and see if you can embody that concept of that attitude of the beginner's mind as we go through today. So without further ado, we'll get started. So firstly, I'd like you to come to a comfortable position, and I'd like you to do this with a sense of purpose, with a sense of intention. So it's not just a case of, I need to be sitting down or laying down to meditate, so there you are in the space. But this is a space and a time for you to connect with your breath, to, like I say, listen to the body. And I think it's important to honor that. So rather than rushing into getting sat down, whether you're sitting down on a cushion or a towel or a blanket, if you are in a seated position, you might want to think about having something underneath you just to lift your hips up a little bit higher. This can be really beneficial it is really beneficial for anyone who's got lower back issues. It's nice to have the hips a little bit higher, a little bit more supported, makes things a little bit easier to sit. But also we will be sitting for a reasonable amount of time, so make sure that you're comfortable. And you can do this sitting on a chair, you can do this on the sofa, you can do this laying down. What I would ask of you is that you consider your alignment, you consider your posture. So if you're sitting on a chair or on a sofa, then having your feet hip distance apart, with the feet planted on the ground, and seeing if you can bring your back away from the back of the chair or sofa so that your spine is self-supporting, if it's comfortable to do so. And of course, if it's not, you're welcome to lean back into the sofa or the chair. If you're sitting cross-legged, think about your head over your heart and your heart over your hips. And just, again, thinking about having a positive alignment for your body in this practice. If you're laying down, then think about tucking your shoulders underneath your chest and a little tuck of the chin to lengthen out through the crown of the head. So you have a nice long neck. It's good positive alignment for the neck. If it's comfortable, having a small arch in your lower back. And again, if you have lower back issues when you're laying down, then maybe getting a towel or a cushion or something you can put underneath your knees, under the backs of the knees. This can help alleviate any discomfort. And so just, I'll give you a few minutes just to kind of settle in, thinking about your posture, your alignment, making sure that you're comfortable. And as you do that, I'll just say, if you fall asleep, like, the aim is to stay awake, okay? The aim is to stay awake and be conscious of your breath, to be aware, effectively, to be present in this moment. It's really easy to get caught up in here and we start worrying and potentially fixating and obsessing on things. And so, even a brief bit of breath work every day will do wonders. So yeah, let's make a start, shall we? So firstly, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking this time for yourself, and we'll go from here. So, in your comfortable seated position or laying position, I'd like you to just take a moment to feel your body. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but just take a moment to feel the weight of you. Whether that's in a seated position, feeling the weight of your sit bones against a cushion or chair or floor or blanket, whatever you've chosen to sit on. Or if you're laying down, feeling the weight of your body against the floor, the mat, towel, blanket, again, whatever you've chosen. And after you've done that, I'd like you to take either one or both of your hands and just rest them here on your belly. For a lot of people, myself included, this part here of the body is something we do not necessarily have a positive relationship with. And part of connecting in with the breath is connecting in with the movement of the breath through the body. And one of the most prominent places for a lot of people that they feel the breath is in the belly, in that lower abdominal wall. And the reason I'm asking you to kind of take hold of it, to kind of have a little bit of a play around with your belly, is because a lot of people are quite reluctant to use diaphragmatic breathing, to breathe into and out from that belly, and it's a really useful tool. The wonderful thing about doing a home practice is that you don't necessarily need to be as self-conscious as you would be kind of out and about or in a class setting or something like that. So just taking a moment here to really kind of, rub your belly, feel it, maybe even give it a bit of a squeeze if you want. Maybe I'll do it with you. A bit of a squeeze of my fats. And just maybe if you can, see if you can find a bit of a smile. It's not every day you have a bearded, bald-headed guy telling you to grab hold of your belly, is it? So, allow this to be a bit playful. Again, that beginner's mind, think of it like a bit of childlike curiosity. And just yeah, just feeling that belly. And now what I'd like you to do is take a big deep breath in, and then let it out. And again. And out. So you can feel with your hands, with your fingers and fingertips on your belly, you can feel the movement of the belly as you breathe in. And as I'm talking, I'd like you to I'd like you to continue breathing in nice and steady, in through the nose and out through the nose or mouth. Obviously, like at the moment, it's probably a lot of people have colds, so maybe breathing in through the nostrils isn't possible at the moment. That's okay, no worries. Um, you can breathe in through your mouth. It's all right. So breathing nice and steady, breathing in and out. And you can feel your hands as the belly inflates and deflates. If you want a little bit of extra, what you can do is you can interlace your fingers, and as you breathe in, you feel a gentle expansion and gentle contraction just here. So really breathing into that belly, consciously breathing, feeling the movement of the abdominal wall, feeling the movement of the belly with each inhale and each exhale. And I'm just going to stay quiet for a moment just so you can connect in with that. And if it's comfortable, close your eyes, or if you're not comfortable closing your eyes, you can just gently kind of look down at the floor, soften the gaze. And just see if you can really feel the movement of the breath in the body. The hands there to give you a bit of an extra reference point. Cool. Okay. So, throughout the practice, you're more than welcome to keep your hands on your belly. If you feel like you don't need to and it's more comfortable for you just to rest the hands down on your lap, on your thighs, on your knees, again, absolutely fine. But really, I'm just giving you that extra bit of physical reference here just to help us connect in with the breath. Because for some of us, maybe this is the first time we've ever thought about our breath or connected with it. And if so, awesome. Thank you so much for doing that here today. That's very, very cool. And these practices will help. So allowing the breath to move freely now. So slowly releasing the sense of control and allowing the body to breathe itself, to find its own natural rhythm. Feeling the gentle inflation and deflation of the belly, the gentle movement of the lower abdominal wall, the muscles in the abdomen as they inflate, deflate. Or, to be more accurate, as they stretch, expand and contract, as the belly inflates and deflates. And as you do this, seeing if you can really cultivate that sense of a beginner's mind, being curious with what comes up. There is a fair chance that as we move through this practice, some of you may well find that you start to feel frustrated, and that's okay. These practices are exactly that, they're a practice. The more that we engage with it, the more adept we become at connecting in. And remember, there's always a choice. You can choose to get frustrated with something, or you can choose to laugh at it. There's a lot of frustration going on in the world at the moment, but there's also quite a bit of laughter that's building up as well, which is beautiful. So as you're breathing, as best you can, relinquishing control and allowing the breath to flow as freely as possible. Perhaps see if you can allow the edges of your lips to curl upward slightly towards your eyes and ears. or at the very least, see if you can find a bit of an inner smile. This is a practice of meditation, of breath, but also of kindness and compassion towards the self. It's self-care, it's self-love, so you can smile with that. This is a positive thing that is being undertaken today. So allowing the breath to flow as freely as possible, allowing it to find its own natural rhythm. And as you do so, being aware of your alignment. So if you notice that maybe you started to slouch or round through the spine if you're sitting, then maybe think about looping the shoulders back, pressing into your seat, and just having a nice positive alignment for your spine. And as I say, if it's comfortable to do so, allowing the eyes to close or the gaze to gently soften. And noticing the movement of the breath in the body. And I'd like you to consider your observation, your awareness, your focus, your attention as a spotlight. And we can choose to shine that spotlight anywhere we wish. And right now, I invite you to shine that spotlight on the lower abdominal wall, on the belly. Feeling and noticing the gentle inflation and deflation of the belly. The gentle expansion and contraction. Allowing the breath as best you can to move freely. And you may well find that as you do this, as you consciously choose to focus on the natural movement of the breath, then the mind starts to wander away, getting caught up on various to-do lists, maybe worries about what's happening out in the world. And it's important to recognize there's no fault, there's no failure here. The mind is a very busy thing. The wandering mind, as it's often referred to, or the monkey mind, is a part of being alive. So if you notice that the mind has wandered away from that physical sensation of breath in the belly, I encourage you to smile, to congratulate yourself on recognizing, on observing the wandering mind, and acknowledge where the mind has wandered to. And as best you can, try not to get drawn into those thoughts and or feelings, but acknowledge where the mind wandered to, and then catch the awareness and return it to the breath. Nice and kindly, nice and gently. As many times as the mind wanders, smile, congratulate yourself on noticing that wandering mind, acknowledge where it's gone, and then escort it back to the breath. Just this breath coming in, just this breath coming out, just as the body is, just as you are. Allowing the breath to flow freely. And if you find yourself getting irritable, bored or frustrated, observe that. Congratulate yourself on recognizing those feelings, those emotions, those thoughts. And escort the awareness back to the breath. And see if you can continue with that beginner's mind, that childlike curiosity. Observing the gentle stretching and releasing of the skin on the belly. The movement of the muscles. The sensations of contact between skin and clothing. Perhaps even being aware of the warmth of your hand on your belly, or hands if you've chosen to use both. and just staying with the breath. That's what this first session's all about. It's just connecting to our breath, being able to allow ourselves to engage with this time and space that we've created, to be still, to turn our awareness and our attention inward. And currently, that spotlight rests on the breath, the movement in the belly, and I'd like to say here that if there's a space in your body where the breath is more prominent for you, perhaps in the chest, in the rib cage as the lungs inflate and deflate, or perhaps the sensation of the air coming in through the nostrils or lips and out through the nostrils or lips. Whichever is most prominent for you, that's where I would invite you to shine your spotlight of focus, awareness and attention. As best you can, allowing everything else to fade away from your awareness as you observe the natural rhythm of the breath. Nice and steady. You may well start to become aware of other sounds and potential distractions all around. And again, that's perfectly natural. And I would encourage you to praise yourself, to congratulate yourself on becoming aware of those distractions. Take a moment to acknowledge what they are, and then draw your awareness back to the breath. Seeing if you can continue to cultivate that smile, whether it's an inner smile or whether you're able to allow it to find its way across your face as the corners of the lips finds their way upward. Taking a moment every now and then just to check in with your posture, with your alignment. Noticing if you've started to round through the spine if you're sitting. And just trying to continue to keep that sense of alertness, that sense of being awake, engaged with this practice. For some of us, being still is very difficult. It's challenging, and that's okay. So if you're finding this really hard, if you're finding it really challenging to connect in with the breath, then again I invite you to just take a moment to recognize that this is challenging for you. And that's okay. And you'll find some days, if you choose to continue with the meditation practices, which I strongly encourage, you'll find that the more adept you become, that you'll notice that some days engaging with the breath is comfortable. Other days, not so much. And that's all part of it. And as we continue to practice, we continue to develop these tools, these skill sets. And if we continue to cultivate that sense of a beginner's mind, that sense of playful, childlike exploration, then you'll probably be quite surprised at all the things that you can uncover simply by just taking a moment out of your day to focus on the breath. That gentle ebb and flow, the rise and fall. Each inhale unique, each exhale unique. Allowing the breath to flow as freely as you can. Allowing your spotlight of attention and awareness to study, to be present on the physical sensations of breath. Feeling the weight of the body against the chair or the cushion or the space that you are sitting or laying in. Perhaps noticing the slight release and softening through the body with each exhale. And that inflation, that increase as we inhale. Just allowing the body to be still. Focusing your spotlight of awareness and attention on wherever the breath is most prominent for you. You may well feel that you wish to give up, or you get frustrated or bored or irritated. And again, these things are perfectly natural. And I encourage you to see if you can sit with that, to observe these thoughts and feelings and then allow them to move through. Everything is temporary. Allow the body to be still. Remember, if the mind wanders, allow yourself to smile. Praise yourself for recognizing the wandering mind. Acknowledge where it went and escort it back to the breath as many times as the mind wanders. So today, as I say, is a gentle introduction. Just a way of connecting in, dropping in, if you will, with the breath. Grounding yourself with the breath. This tool, this resource that has always been with you and will always be with you. And taking this time to turn inward. Taking this time to practice some self-love, some kindness, compassion, patience and tolerance. We may well not be happy with the way things are in the world or the way things are in ourselves at this moment. But moments pass, and if we choose to, we can change things. Be that our physical health and well-being, and be that other situations that perhaps we would rather were different. This time of social distancing and isolating is an opportunity to look inward, an opportunity to listen to the body and the mind and the heart about what's really important to you, what really matters, and making the space and the time and decisions to tend to those things, to tend to yourself. Taking care to check in with your alignment. Making sure that your body is positively supported. Feeling the movement of the breath. Of the inhale and the gentle softening on the fall of the exhale. As best you can, not trying to control the breath in any way. Seeing if you can continue to smile, continue to be curious and playful. And if you do feel that you need to stop, or that you need to take a break and then come back into the practice, that's okay. Be kind to yourself. Take it steady. We can build and we can develop from where we're at to get to where we wish to be. So often in life we're concerned with rushing to the end, that we miss all of the wonderful nutrients that was laid out for us on the path. So in the same way that I was saying, take your time when you come to sit or lay as you begin this practice. Take your time with the practice. Meditation is not about trying to reach any altered states or change things necessarily, but more about cultivating a sense of presence, a sense of awareness in this moment. And if the mind is really busy, and you're finding it really hard to connect, to notice the breath, then we can employ a counting method. As simple as in-breath 1, out-breath 1, in-breath 2, out-breath 2, and so on and so forth, up to 5, and then restart the counter again. If you're not a fan of numbers and counting, as you breathe in, you can literally say to yourself, I am breathing in. And as you exhale, as you breathe out, you can say to yourself, I am breathing out. These are just little extra techniques, little tools that we can use to help ourselves when the mind is very busy. And over time, as we continue our practice, you may well feel like you don't need to use these tools anymore, that you no longer need a hand on the belly or to count yourself through your breath cycles. Every now and then I find that I still occasionally can benefit from the use of a hand on the belly, or that conscious acknowledgement of the movement of the breath. And then from here, what I would like you to do, or what I invite you to do, is to start now to deepen the breath, consciously breathing in and holding that breath for a couple of seconds, cultivating that inhale, and then allowing the exhale to be longer than the inhale, lengthening out that exhalation. And again, nice deep breath in. Hold it, cultivate that inhale. A nice long breath out. And keep going with that deepening conscious breath, elongating the exhale. Studies have shown that by utilizing this style of breath, even only for a few cycles, we are able to settle the brain, settle the mind. And studies have shown that this type of breath works directly with the vagus nerve, which is linked in with fight, flight, freeze or faint, also associated in part with anxieties and various other stresses. So even if you just did a couple of these breaths on a daily basis, taking a nice deep breath in, and then elongating that exhale on the release. If you were to just do that 3 times a day, within about a week, you would notice a real benefit. So just taking that time now with that conscious breathing. Breathing in, breathing into the whole of you, breathe into your space and hold it, cultivate that breath, embrace you, embrace that space, and then on the exhale, see if you can give yourself permission to soften, allowing the exhale to completely empty from the body before then taking another inhale. And as we come to the end of this session for the day, I'd like you to just bear with me for just a little bit longer. So I spent a lot of years living on my own, and that isolation had a very heavy weight behind it. And with social distancing, obviously, physicality of touch and contact is restricted at the moment. So what I would invite all of you, if you will, to do is I'd like you to bring your arms up and wrap your arms around yourself. And you can do it just around your upper body, or if you're seated and it's comfortable for you to do so, maybe you can hug your knees into your chest. And then maybe you can allow the head to soften down here. If you're laying down, then obviously you can just wrap your arms around you, or if you feel the need, you can bring your legs up, just make sure you're supporting your lower back, and you can hug your knees into your chest when you're laying down. If you're in a seat, again, wrap the arms around yourself. And from here, take that big, deep, conscious breath in. And on the exhale, see if you can give yourself an even deeper hug. Take another nice deep breath in. And out. Hugging yourself. And one more for good measure. 3 is the magic number. Breathe in. And out. And then gently release the arms, release the knees or the legs if you've done so. Give the shoulders a gentle roll. And then we'll bring the arms up once more, and then we'll have the opposite arm on top. just to provide a bit of balance. And again, hugging yourself in here. Take a big deep breath in. Feel that connection between breath and body, and on the exhale, again, same as we did on the other side, just seeing if you can give yourself a bit of a deeper hug. 2 more cycles of breath. And 1 more. Gently releasing on the exhale. Allow the shoulders to roll just a few times forwards and backwards. Gently wriggle the toes, lightly wriggle the fingertips, and gently blinking the eyes back into the room, back into the space if you've not done so already. And then from here, when you leave this video, I would encourage you just to spend a few more moments in stillness, just a few more moments listening to your breath. I want to thank you for joining me today, for engaging with some breath work. I really appreciate you, your focus, your attention, your energy. Thank you very much for sharing that with me today. I'll be looking to do a video each day, which I will upload both to my YouTube channel and to Instagram TV, the old IGTV. The link to my YouTube channel is in the bio on my Instagram page, and that's SiMonkey, SIM0NKEY. Yeah. So thank you so much for engaging. Before I leave you, I would like you to take a moment to congratulate yourself, to praise yourself, to recognize that you have actively taken some time out of your day to give something back to you, to your breath, to your body and your mind. And that's not always easily done. So well done. Thank you so much. And I would strongly encourage you to take a moment to recognize that you are awesome. And if you're not quite there on your journey of self-care and self-love, that's okay, because I will gladly do it for you. You are awesome. Thank you so much. All the very best. If you have any questions about what we looked at today, if there is anything else you'd like to talk about, then please feel free to either send me a DM or you can mention stuff in the comments. If there's anything that you would like to particularly work on, then please do get in touch and I'll look at incorporating that into one of the future videos. So I am putting these out for free. I'm not particularly comfortable with money and things, and I just want to be of help. But as I am also working on my own journey of self-love and care, this is part of what I do for a living. So if anyone wanted to, if you're in a position to donate something, then that would be wonderful. Send me a message and I can tell you about how to do that. If not, no worries. Like I say, this is just something that I've decided I want to do. I want to help and be useful. So I hope that you have benefited from this time together. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Yeah, please do let me know how you got on, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Cheers.